The human history in this valley goes back some 14,000 years. 500 generations of indigenous history before the first European ever stepped into this valley here. In those early days, anywhere in the world, natural springs were an important part. It was a healing part. I mean, the Stoney Nakotas, they would come out here in the summertime and they would set up teepees in the area. The men would go into the cave using a rope made out of elk or deer hide. They would perform a ceremony in the cave while others would be harvesting berries there as well. Different groups started coming in the 1800s. They were simply exploring. Some were trying to find a passageway through these mountains to the Pacific coast. Then in 1867, something important happened. 4 colonies joined together: Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Canada was formed as a country, but that was a very small portion. It was only about 5% of the land. Our first Prime Minister was Sir John A. Macdonald. He wanted to see that country expand, more territory become part of Canada. So he reached out to British Columbia and asked them if they would like to join. They said yes, but they had a couple of conditions. One, they owed some money, and they wanted a railway connection. In 1883, the railway reached the valley. Winter was coming, so work comes to stop. Most men go back home, but 3 railway workers decided they were going to spend the winter here. One cold morning, they saw steam rising here. They were very curious. They didn't see the steam before, so they scrambled up, came to a vent. One of them took a deep breath and described it as chimney from hell. That's where we're going next. The average temperature here is between 31 and 34 degrees Celsius, so roughly 87 to 92 to 95 Fahrenheit. So we saw the cave, now let's go see the basin and the snails. Here you can see algae and bacteria floating, and on the algae and bacteria, we got the snails here. 34 degrees Celsius. And not to worry, your hands will not smell.
I'm the executive chef for Brazen. It's part of the Pursuit company. I've been in Banff for about 5 years now. Some of the dishes, like I'm sure you've seen before, like our desserts and whatever else, you can really see the creative side of what I like to do. Eating is an experience and people eat with their eyes. 80% of the battle is presentation. I feel like the flavors here and the presentation exceeds the limits for sure. Biggest thing too is that we're trying to do is hit the market as like, vegetarian and vegan options. So if you look, for vegan options, there's 9 options they can actually have on the menu, which is unreal. I think it doesn't have to be just about meat, you know what I mean? That's what most restaurants like, all your values there, but if you can showcase vegetables properly and get people in for that, there's a market for it.
We have an expression in Ireland, Tíorgan is Tíorgan Anam. That means a country without a language is a country without a soul. So when I look at these mountains around me here, tell me they don't have a soul. And if they have a soul, they have a language, and that language is the indigenous languages. The Stoney Nakota tended to travel around this area. They mightn't be to this area for a while, right? Some did live here year round. A lot of people would just travel in and out. And Sulphur Mountain, known as Mini Fruin, means the spiritual mountain, the sacred mountain. You might notice a lot less snow on that mountain than there is on Rundle. Even though Rundle's a lot steeper, that has less snow. It's because of the hot springs. The hot springs keeps that mountain warm. If you live here and you live in a teepee, right? Hot springs, that's a gift from the gods, right? And so that's why it was known as the spiritual mountain.